We haven't recorded in a minute, and you want to do an improv scene?
Let's see here.
Steven, you're never the one that directs them, so you should direct this one.
Oh, okay.
Elias always comes up with these wild style stories.
Direct.
So like come up with the premise for me and Elias, and then maybe you can be an NPC.
Oh, okay. Like, ask a question or...
Do you not know how improv works?
Set a scene.
Oh, okay. So, you just walked in through the door. We just... Almost like the group of us just got back from the Circle K or something at, like, nighttime.
Oh, Steven, I know what you're gonna say. My dad is not a darkness dweller.
And then all of a sudden you hear a light... and the lights you just turned on flicker off. And you see a large glow coming from the fucking the direction of the kitchen. And you hear... stomps coming towards you. You turn the corner, it's your dad, and his stomach is engulfed and glowing as if he has a giant fireball in it. What do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
George, your dad's absorbing the light. He's absorbing the light from your house.
I say, what are you doing?
This is E, feed me.
Am I here or am I E?
Huh? You're here, we're all here.
You're E.
Can I also walk to the kitchen?
Yeah, you can walk in the kitchen. This is your reactions.
You have
so
to
to
roll
speak.
initiative.
Alright, then I said what I said. I said, hey George, look, your dad is absorbing the light from the room.
I say, that's lame. Stop.
I'll say, are you gonna cover this electricity bill?
Then he starts mashing the microwave buttons really fast and absorbing the light as he uses it.
The minuscule light from the microwave?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he can have that light if the noise will stop if he does it enough.
He's really hungry.
Yeah, it's ironic how he doesn't need to eat anything from the microwave. He just needs to hit the buttons to eat the light from the microwave.
The problem is that every time he absorbs the light from a light fixture, it breaks automatically, and he makes us replace it.
I mean, what are the chances we actually parse this information and not just get upset that he's in the kitchen making noises and glowing?
What are the chances my dad walks in, becomes a harbinger of light, and can absorb the concept of light?
I'd be equally annoyed as if he could do that as if he was just in the house making noises.
Laughing under his breath.
That's why the wall isn't getting built between us and your brother. He's just been doing that the whole time.
I'd belch in his face. That'd really get him going.
He'd just groan and keep making noises.
He'd go, ugh, and some of the light would escape out of his mouth.
Okay, so new scenario.
Nose
Find
would
out
flare
the
up.
only way to get him to expel the light he absorbed is to burp in his face, apparently.
Or just make him annoyed.
That too. Dakota, what would you do?
George, you have to make him laugh to get the light out. What do you say?
Me and my dad don't really have that kind of connection. I don't think I've ever made him laugh.
Now's your chance.
Well, I don't know how to make him laugh. I know how to make him go, ugh. I'll put on just a whole round robin of Joey videos.
Yeah, do you think George's dad will sit down and say, hey, you watching Joey's World Tour?
Yeah.
That's a
Mind if I
trap.
join
He'll
it?
absorb the TV light, you idiot.
You're right. Oh, fuck.
TV's ineffective against this foe.
Well,
None of this has any real consequence. We just can't use light. And he's just here.
You can't use your computer. He'll absorb that light. Like, you can use it, but you can't see what you're clicking on.
Exactly.
I guess, if you consider that using it.
This is my
That'll
career.
make it real hard to play Honey Pop.
This is my career he's messing with. We gotta figure it out.
Okay, what do Southern people find the most funny?
Bottles.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Minorities.
Yeah.
That's true. Steven would just say the
Okay.
N-word, and then he would expel when a
therapist
cartoon
guy.
character gets their mouth on like a air pipe, and they go like, and then they go.
He'd all of a sudden break down and slap his knee and then laugh really hard. As I
Wheezing.
explain, as I write the word brown and then write it backwards and it says N-word.
You write it on a thin piece of paper with a very deep marker so you can flip it over. And
Yeah.
it says N-word.
So,
Flip it over and flip it back to make him expel and dispel light.
Yeah, and it doesn't actually say the actual N word. It just says
I know,
N
it's-
word.
yeah.
Like N-word.
Word,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
See?
That's what makes it extra funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Brown. Then you flip it around.
Okay. We've created
You-
a physical reaction here.
Elias, you had the same reaction George had when I showed him that the first time.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Dad. That's enough of a cold open.
Tune in last week
Okay.
for our King of the Hill episode. Welcome to Crossing the Line. Today's
Oh.
episode is Rocket Power.
Disclaimer! Crossing the Line is not a show intended to bully or harass anyone. Do not go out of your way to find or mess with the authors featured on our podcast. They make what we do possible, and we love them. And you. Thanks. Enjoy.
But down.
We should introduce a segment this year where we try to reenact the theme song from memory every time.
That doesn't sound fun or funny.
We've done it twice.
Okay. Elias, you have a go.
Okay. We are riders on a mission, action heroes.
Okay, it was funny.
Elias, you missed like 7 notes.
You already did the first note.
Oh,
I was continuing.
No, you did like the first one and then skipped the ones I did.
Yeah, I know.
I
It goes, That's why it's better from memory.
You're right.
Alright, that's enough of that. What's everybody's experience with Rocket Power?
Nothing.
I watched it when it was on reruns, and that's about it, really.
I got really into the PS1 game. I actually played it with my sister not too long ago as well. And it's not very good, but it is funny because every time you fall, they scream. And the audio clip, especially if Sammy screaming, like clips the recording, and it sounds good.
That's Squid style.
Yeah.
Squid stuff.
What is that move? Squid style!
I feel like
it's
the-
just him like falling over.
Oh my god.
At the end of the day, it's still like a skating game, so it's pretty alright. Even though it's nothing special.
What would you guys do if they announced a Netflix reboot of Rocket Power? But it's the exact same animation by the exact same studio with the exact same outdated
It's just a
technology.
new season.
And it's classically
Yeah.
it's classically Supo, except the colors are brighter, so that way they can have like a line of shading on them, like every
Right.
new cartoon character.
Yeah.
these days. What would you do if there was a Netflix original series live action Rocket Power? Except except it's not really live action because all of the main cast are CG models to look like realistic versions with their bad classically Supo
I
proportions.
didn't expect that.
You know, I would have expected that to happen before I would have expected a Fairly Odd Parents one of that to happen, so to be honest, I wouldn't be that surprised.
It's like this big Raymundo is quite literally just like a 3D rig of a Rocky Cheeto.
Oh my god. They steal resources.
Yeah, it has a watermark on it.
Oh my god.
Well, actually, we got back into Rocket Power like a few years ago at a hotel room because we wanted to watch Rocket
Do not
Power.
admit that.
It's true.
We wanted to watch Rocket Power on the hotel Wi-Fi, so we tried to watch it on YouTube or online, but we couldn't find an actual rip. We just found what we call Deep Web Rocket Power, which is like
It's when they take episodes and they put them online, but they apply different filters and borders in order to get past the bots that automatically take that shit off. So basically we'd watch Rocket Power and the voice would be ever so slightly high-pitched, and then the screen would be slightly tilted, and you'd have like fucking black bands on every side of the screen.
it was mostly that it was. I think that one in particular just zoomed in a little bit, so you'd always
Yeah.
be like a little bit unaware of what was going on in the scene, which made it funny.
The rule of thirds would be like ruined just enough that it was noticeable.
Yeah, we definitely watched too many episodes of it in that style.
Yeah, me and Devin had a good time. He had to take a picture of Tito back in the 60s in a flashback episode.
We got a clip of him saying, "What a disgrace!"
And burping loudly.
What a disgrace.
The classic Rocket Power clip. Find that clip and cut it up and send it in for your chance to win.
Well, he wouldn't.
A recut of the first episode of Rocket Power.
The YouTube poop by us.
Yeah, we have to make them a YouTube poop.
Very well, it has to be episode length though.
Okay. How would we do that? Just basically recreate Deep Web Rocket Power?
Yeah.
It's just the episode with a fisheye lens on top of it.
It's that,
Well,
but every word.
Just like Real Skater videos.
It's the episode, but every word that has an F that starts with the letters S and A gets reversed to sauce.
Perfect. Sauce. George, what do you like about Rocket Power? Alright, who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I've been saving this one for so long.
You've mentioned this
God.
probably, if not.
I've mentioned this since the beginning of our show. That's how long this has been on the shelf.
We've been thinking about Rocket Power for too long.
We have.
It's time.
I'm glad it died off for a little bit. Let's see here. So,
Okay, I don't actually care much about Rocket Power, but it's fine. It's not the worst Klasky Supo show.
yeah.
Do you like the
it's
Tony
not
Hawk
bad.
episode where Tony Hawk sets a death trap race for them?
That's actually
Isn't
like
Tony Hawk only in it in like the last minute?
yeah.
To get to him, they're like going through a dangerous obstacle course.
In his basement,
You guys like Tony Hawk's Boom Boom Sabotage?
to a degree.
I almost
like
went to
parts
the-
of it.
I almost went to the Boom Boom Huck Jam, which is like his skater party thing. It was in Minnesota one year.
It's a good thing you didn't. I hear it got sabotaged.
Alright, my story's over, you're right.
All right.
Continue on.
Okay. All right. It was a rainy day in the streets of Hawaii, and Tito was walking home after closing up the shore shack. It was
They
one
live
of-
in Hawaii?
Yeah, they're in Hawaii. No, they're in California. What the
Yeah.
hell?
Is
Ocean
this,
Shores, California.
is this another shore shack we don't know about, Tito?
Oh God.
Is this
Second
from the
shore
Rocket
shack.
Power movie?
The Rocket Power movie.
And there's a movie where they go to Hawaii, I think.
No, there's a movie where they go to New Zealand.
Oh,
Like
is it New
the-
Zealand?
Yeah.
One of them's about
That's the-
Tito.
Yeah. One of them
There's like
has
2 or 3 movies for some reason.
There is. There's like 2 or 3 specials, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's like 2 movies, and one of them they go to New Zealand, and it has Tito. It's funny enough. We were actually just watching something about what's that fucking thing called? The Joey ate
Vegemite.
and that his entire arc, Tito's entire arc in that movie is getting Vegemite for the shore shack while they're in New Zealand. It's funny.
When you look up Rocket Power, the first Google people also ask is, what ethnicity is Auto Rocket? And the answer is Anglo-Polynesian.
Oh, okay.
Like the Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yep. It actually says the Chick-fil-A sauce was based off of Auto Rocket's ethnicity.
He
Thanks, Google.
invented it.
This is great.
Anglo-Polynesian.
Let's see here. Tito was walking home after
I'm sorry if that's racist.
No, it's well, actually, that's a real. Never mind.
Tito was walking home after closing up the shore shack. It was one of those days where he couldn't get the thought of the shoobies out of his brain.
Just one of those days.
For those of you in the audience who don't know what a shoobie is, it's basically like beach talk for someone who walks on the beach with their shoes.
You think
And
they're
socks.
listening to this episode and they don't know what shoobies are, Steven? Get real.
You're right. This is the Rocket Power episode. Tito would never forgive them for taking his parents. He always remembered the shoobies. How couldn't he? They were everywhere, and they made his life hella sad. Nothing brought him true happiness anymore, especially not friggin' Raymundo.
Oh no.
Not the waves, not his stories, not even Hawaiian dickings. Nothing. The older he grew, the more his hate for the shoobies rose. He couldn't take it anymore.
Feel
Tito-
that.
Tito stopped and broke down right there on the side of the road. He decided that there was only one true way to rid himself of the Shoobies and the pain they caused.
Oh no.
Just imagine him like walking down like the side of a highway. And he just gets down on his knees, his hands on the ground. He's like sweating, like, I gotta get rid of those Shoobies, man.
He's just tired of these people.
It's believable. He does hate Shoobies.
I mean, if we can get sick of the fucking tourists down here in St. Augustine. Let's see here. Tito was about to commit seppuku with a fork, but then he remembered he was a vampire and that wouldn't be able to kill him. He threw the fork to the ground, his head hanging. Tito started to walk home again, when he was suddenly interrupted by the succulent and angry screaming of what sounded very close to Terry Crews. Yo, where do you think you're going? What? Thought Tito, turning around to find no one there. In here, you fool! Tito looked down at the fork. Could it be? Yes, you tan-ass motherfucker! Now pick me up! What the fuck do you think I am? Wah! Screamed Tito.
Is that how we said it?
Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't capitalize it, unlike the other scream. Pick me up! Tito does the sentient fork demanded. Are you a magic fork? No, you fool, I'm a fork. I pick things up. I shove them in people's faces. I get free bass after every meal. Oh, said Tito, immensely disappointed.
What is this?
This has gone south real fast. Tubby, are you okay? Tubby? Me? Asked Tito. Yeah, you! Tubby! Are you sad or something? Let's see here. You threw me down pretty hard. Well, it's just, I don't know if I can go on. The Shoobies, screamed Tito. The what?
Do a Tito voice.
The Shoobies, cried Tito. They took my parents. I hate them. I hate them so much. Tito shed a single tear. I don't think I can go on anymore. Being immortal is so hard. It feels like my life has just been going on forever with no purpose. Wow, yeah, that does sound pretty sad, yelled Sentient Fork, continuing to yell for no goddamn fucking reason. Wait a second, maybe I can help you, and you can help me too, Tubby. Wait, what? Me? Asked Tito in disbelief. Yeah, you see, I don't have any legs. I want to be a real boy, a human being, like you, Tubby. I want to be able to feel, to cry, to make love to a beautiful woman at sunset. Is that too much to ask? Well, no, I don't think so, replied Tito. So, you help me become a real boy, and in doing so, you give your life purpose again. And once I have legs, I'll roundhouse kick you Shoobies in the throat.
He's creating the ultimate Shoobie killer.
The fork.
The sentient fork. Tito thought long and hard about the fork's proposition. It definitely sounded more exciting than working around Shoobies all day. He could even be rid of the Shoobies. Forever, even. Maybe. Okay, Tito nodded. I'll do it. Sweet, yelled Sentient Fork. Well, how are we going to turn you into a real boy? That's simple, Tubby. My name's Tito. We have to find Shady and non-anime rapper man. Who's Shady and non-anime rapper man? Exactly, Tibby. No one knows, but all I know is that he's my ticket to becoming a real boy. How do you know? Asked Tito. If the Sentient Fork could, he would be glancing off into a beautiful anime sunset, a single heart-wrenching tear flowing down his silver hood. Because, he said, I just do. Tito stood there, not really knowing what to do. So, how do we find him? Japan! Japan? Shrieked Tito. Japan! Okay, said Tito, and they ran home.
I hope it's not just Tito who goes to Japan. I hope he brings people with him.
This first chapter was called Garlic Bread. And the second chapter is called The Polar Express for Game Boy Advance.
Is this written by Just Sagan?
This is written by Mr. Trump's Ham featuring Kanye West.
I probably don't have to censor that.
No,
That sounds like a joke.
it's not. It's real.
No, it's important.
That's the real fucking author.
Okay.
Okay. Tito and the sentient fork were sitting on the kitchen table in Tito's shack, crunching on some rotten rabbit bones and thinking about how they were going to make it all the way to Japan to turn the fork into a real, live, breathing
I think
boy.
Tito's losing his mind.
Yeah,
Sounds
he
like a
collapsed
psycho.
in the street and tried to kill himself.
He reawoke.
They're in the fucking shore shack eating rabbit bones.
Yeah, if I saw Tito in the shore shack eating rabbit bones talking to a fork, I'd be upset. I'd say, alright, well,
In Hawaii.
In
I
Hawaii.
see you forfeited your business license.
Raimundo spent all this money to get the second branch in Hawaii, and Tito's losing his mind over the stress of it all. Oh my god.
The shore shack in California would not last without Tito.
It's very true. He is the backbone of that establishment.
He's a
Crunching,
Hawaiian weeaboo.
crunching on some rotting rabbit bones and thinking about how they were going to make it all the way back to Japan to turn the fork into a real live breathing boy with a fork dick. Gee, fork man, bubbled Tito as he crunched into a bone, his teeth shattering. How the fuck are we going to get to the Great Nippon? It's easy, you saucy bear.
I see Tito has moved on to being a real weeaboo.
He broke his fucking teeth.
Casually. You just keep talking through it.
It's easy, you saucy bear, squealed Fork Fella. We're gonna hop on the next plane leading to that fucking island, yes?
I got a broken tooth from one of my back teeth. Molars or whatever.
Oh dear.
Just like Tito.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I took a bite of a frozen Twizzler at your mom's house, Elias, and it just like it crunched, and then I had a piece of tooth in my hand.
Oh no.
Oh Christ.
My frozen Twizzlers.
It's fine, I'm over it.
Okay. Tito agreed, and they finished their bone meal in silence. Later, Tito tucked the fork into bed, kissing it on its forehead and puking a bit in his throat. Man, I'll do anything to burn those shoobies. I'd even sell my grandpa to Mr. Huppenfups.
What is Tito doing?
Shit.
He's immortal.
He can
I
do
guess
whatever.
that's true. He doesn't really need a sustainable living.
He can do whatever he wants at this point.
He can burn the shoobies on his own.
Yeah, he'd suffer
He could
no
spend an
repercussions.
eternity doing it.
He wheezed, leaving the fork to dream horrible things. Tito didn't sleep well that night. His dreams were loaded with images of Mao Zedong and 3 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken wings. What the fuck?
This story's cool.
Tito loves Mao Zedong.
And Kentucky Fried Chicken.
3 pieces of it.
It's like a meal. 3-piece country fried chicken, side of mashed potato.
The next Mron ring, the 2 babies awoke inside their hidey hole and packed the bag to go away. Tito stuffed his very best Hawaiian ham right into the fucking bag, while the fork packed only the essentials, such as lip balm and his favorite magazine. A fork book to read on the train. The sun was shining.
The train.
The train.
Out of Hawaii.
To read
The
on the
train to
train.
Japan.
I guess so.
Is Hawaii even big enough for a train?
It's like the train from One Piece that goes across the water.
Okay.
The sun was shining, the birds was screaming, the children was screaming. What a good day. The 2 boys strolled down the sidewalk and eventually found the air pot right under the docks. There it is, right there, our dream building. The plane box, gurgled Tito, huffling his way right into the fucking entrance with the fork straggling behind him. Slow down, I don't have a leg or even two, whispered Fork Boy, who was so very tired.
I don't have a leg or even two. I like that inflection you gave him.
Thank you.
That almost Terry Crews impression he has.
I don't feel like putting that much gusto into a damn fork, okay? I wasn't expecting this to be a main character.
You waited a year to read this.
I know.
You should have a little more vim and vigor.
You're right. After getting a wholesome meal at the local Wendy's and dumping all the trash on the floor, the Babs got ready to climb onto that there plane. But before they could even get on plane, they had to pass through the security portal. Shit, how the heck were they gonna live? Tito swooshed into the portal, carrying his baby ham in the bag. Obviously, the portal let out a sensual shriek because it debt-seated that damn ham and wouldn't handle the ham.
Oh, detected.
I was expecting him to put, like... Imagine that he puts the fork in the bag to get it through security, and they open up his suitcase and all he has is a ham and a fork.
Right.
Friendly reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we read these verbatim.
Let's see. Run, Fork baby, run! Tito roared, pushing the plane warriors away so they could step onto that there plane. As soon as they got to that there plane door, a mysterious hand reached out and grabbed our heroes and pulled them into the plane. Oh God. Once they were inside, they looked up to see that their savior was none other than Hugh Neutron, who is the father of Jimmy Neutron.
Yay!
Here's the crossover.
Hey, guys.
I was really worried the crossover was the fork.
Right, me too.
Terry Crews the fork.
Almost Terry Crews the fork.
Hey, guys, want to see the ducks? He burbled, opening
Wow,
his
that was
big...
a weak Hugh Neutron reference, I gotta say.
That was a weak
Want to see the ducks? Yeah, are you flying the plane also?
Why'd you pull us in here? Hugh Neutron burbled, opening his big coat to reveal a duck corpse tied to his shirt.
Oh.
What a good bird, cooed Fork, blushing and kinda having to make a shit.
That's only one duck, not plural.
Yeah. Stop looking at my fowl. You have to sit down now, he squeaked, pushing the two hump boys into some chairs so the plane could get away.
Hump boys.
Before Tito could even take a chomp of his sweet, succulent Hawaiian hickory ham, the plane's engine smarshed to life and sent the whole vehicle into the clods.
Blast off.
Ham.
His sweet Hawaiian hickory ham. Tito's head rolled over to look at the Fork Kid.
I don't like the idea that Hugh Neutron is also going to Japan.
Why did he pull them in?
He's not there to stay.
Yeah.
He's just a flight attendant. He's offering them their selection of pies.
What did Hugh Neutron do for a job in that show?
Let's see here. He does have it. What was it?
I feel like he'd be a good flight attendant.
He would probably.
I think he had like varying jobs depending on the situation.
Right, I'm not sure. I think he had like what?
He was a father figure more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
He probably had some just like generic office job, but so he didn't make any jokes about it.
True.
It's not like Timmy's dad, the pencil pusher.
Yeah. He
literally just pushes pencils into a pencil sharpener.
What a job.
Tito's head rolled over to look at the Fork Kid. He coughed up some blood and sneezed. Well, we made it onto the train, Fork. Fork tried to hold back his tears as he sat on a bag of puffy Cheetos, crushing each and every last one until there was nothing left but puffy Cheeto dust.
That's right, it's a train, not a plane.
No, Tito just thinks it's a train.
He's never realized he's flown before.
He calls it a train.
Oh my god.
He always sits in the middle. He never takes the window seat.
Yeah, we're going to the place. I'm finally become the real baby boy I desire. The fork then had a fit of whooping cough that lasted the entire goddamn flight and never stopped.
Oh no.
The flight?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a the only person who's called it a train is Tito. Everybody else knows it's a flight.
Okay.
Tito's,
Thank you.
Tito's delusional.
Ooh.
The in-flight film was a documentary of shoobies.
What could that even be? It's an hour and a half filming people wearing shoes on the beach.
That made Tito shiver and cluck with terror. The plane stripped through the sky, chuckling. A chuckle plane. Tell the plane a joke. It chuckle, huh? Halfway through the flight, Hugh Neutron sat on Tito's lap and refused to get off.
All the fork is having a whooping cough.
The entire...
He just walked over.
I was gonna say with the fork it's in Tito's head, it's not bothering anyone else, but when the flight man is also on one of the passengers' laps half the flight, that is dangerous.
Right.
Flight man.
The pilot.
That's his job in the show, flight man.
The rocket man.
Hugh Neutron sat on Tito's lap and refused to get off. What the hell was his problem? Did his mother raise him in a cow barn? Jimmy's papa licked Tito's precious ham, depreciating it and poisoning it with his Hugh tongue. What a vicious predator, that Hugh.
The only thing he packed been ruined on the flight.
Man.
Hey, Tito, let me shank this skunk, barked Fork, raring to murder Hugh Neutron. No, if we kill the monster, we'll never see the sunrise ever again, Tito hummed, crying invisible tears over his meats. Neutron shrieked and screamed, baring his teeth to intimidate all other passengers. This was his plane, and everyone would die if they said a single word about VeggieTales on VHS.
That'll be
Not
a good
a
clip out of context.
Not a single word. What the fuck? Just as the plane was coming in for the land, a baby boy ahead whispered, VeggieTales on VHS is a good time for all ages. And this infuriated Hugh Neutron.
I just Wikipedia'd Hugh Neutron, and it has a section of his likes and dislikes.
Oh.
He likes ducks, pies, his family, Taco Shack, Octopus Man, the Bee Gees. He dislikes raisins, crabgrass, and McSpankies.
Poor guy, son worked there.
I don't like you, Jimbo. By association.
I went into your store and I didn't like it. Now it's one of the 4 things I don't like.
Is
Weirdly.
one of those temporary dislikes and it's his own son. And this infuriated Hugh Neutron. Hugh leapt from Tito's legs and seized the boy, crushing his skull with his bulbous nose. Oh, the humanity, moaned everyone on the plane at once. They were also scared of the Hugh. Finally, the plan stopped moving, and everyone hustled to get the hell out of there right now.
Hold on. As seen in Attack of the Twonkies special, Hugh was a master at slow motion.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I remember that.
Me too.
He has the sands of time from friggin' Prince of Persia.
My phone just recognized that as... My phone just Google searched Sands of Time from that.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, he has no job to talk about. There was like one episode that he had a job as like a gag at like the duck place.
Mm.
The Baby Quackers 9000.
Right.
But that's all I can find.
Mm.
But he did choose to invest money into his wedding ring instead of McSpankies.
Oh, that's true. Let's see here. Tito and Frock led the path, while the slow ones were slain by Hugh Neutron in the back. Poor people those ones were. Tito stepped into the Japanese air pot, taking a breath of fresh wind. good shit, he belched.
Belch.
He bellows.
Good shit.
Good shit, he belched, patting his ham stomach. They were now in the...
I guess he was saying that about the ham. Even though Hugh poisoned it, then he refuted it.
They were now in the land of the Pingle Fingle, Japan. Chapter 3, Tortilla Chips for You and Me.
The land of the Pingle Fingle.
How can someone so culturally insensitive get on a plane to this land?
What happened, everyone? What did you do?
Was Hugh associated with the flight? Or is he just a guy who was on the flight causing trouble?
I think he was just a guy who was on the flight.
I think he
He
was
reached out and pulled Tito in there.
I think he was associated with the train, but was...
But then it metamorphed into a plane.
Where is the anime man? Asked Tito. He's not here. I booked us a hotel, Tibby. Let us leaf into this place. And yes, he spelled it exactly how you expect.
Let us leave.
Tito ran off, Forco dangling in the wind behind him on a piece of thread he took from his stupid Hawaiian shirt.
He's holding him like a kite.
They made it to the hotel 2 hookers later. Tito kicked...
Tito's freaking Napoleon Dynamite dangling this fork behind him and destroying it. And he has time to find 2 hookers on his way to his hotel room.
Yes. It's Japan. Anything can happen.
Tito kicked the door to the motel open, carrying in the sentient fork.
I miss Hugh.
Tito viciously gently closed the door hinge and walked over to the couch where he put down his fork buddy. He turned on the TV. There was only one channel. It was Hamtaro show on, and Tito was mesmerized.
Oh, sick. I love Hamtaro.
Me too.
Hope this turns into one of those things where they just steal the script from the show so you can listen to a Hamtaro episode.
Oh, God. He couldn't look away. He couldn't speak. He couldn't breathe. He could only remember the Neutron Man.
Wow. You even freaking scarred Tito. He's immortal.
He's mesmerized by the cartoon, but all he can think of is Hugh Neutron.
How many thousands of years is it going to take for him to forget? Tito then planked on the floor unconscious.
Well, he's dead. It's over.
Then Tito woke.
Nope.
He shielded... Don't speak too soon, Elias. He shielded his eyes to the harsh sunlight entering the gaping hole in the wall, and he smelled the smelly smell of breakfast. Tito drank some hard liquor and rolled to the kitchen.
Oh, I thought that was his breakfast.
Well, there's still time. He hasn't eaten anything yet.
He smelled breakfast. He's looking at a liquor bottle. He's like laying on the floor.
I mean, unless he made it, there is no smell.
Right. Where Forco was cooking spaghetti.
Oh, okay.
Tito began T-sweat. This was intense. No one had ever cooked spaghetti in his presence before. He didn't know what to do.
Spaghetti doesn't smell like anything. It's pasta and water.
It smells starchy. Sentient fork-faced Tito. Good morning was all the fork could say before Tito gently threw him into the oven.
Gently.
Tito ate all the...
Underhand tossed him in. Slammed the door. Bang.
Tito ate all the spaghetti on his own while he watched.
Gets up and tosses him in the oven, slams the door, and starts eating what he was cooking.
He just woke up like 5 minutes ago and down a huge bottle of liquid, and then ate all of this mystery pasta
While watching Hamtaro.
Glad Hamtaro is still going. The Nippon rules.
The only channel.
Oh my god, I have to find my place. That'd fucking wreck me. Let's see here. Sentence Fork's complaints echoes in the distance. It was 3 hours until Tito was finished watching Hamtaro and eating spaghetti. He felt different. He felt reborn. Knees weak, arms spaghetti. He said to himself. A single tear rolled down his cheek. As for once, he did not think of the shoobies. Meanwhile, Fork was asleep, cozied in the oven, dreaming dreams of the hot Old Spice Man and Migby and Rordakai being yelled at by Jelly Bean Man. How content was he until Tito interrupted his dreamy dreams by opening the fucking oven. "What the fuck, Tibby?" screamed Fork, grumping. "When are we going to find the Anoan Shady Mane?" whispered Tito. "Maybe if you didn't lock me in the fucking oven, we'd have."
This is such a scary scene to visualize.
"I have to make a call. Give me your phone, Tito." Tito handed his phone to the Fork and closed the oven to give him some personal space.
Tito's gonna cook his phone and be trapped in Japan.
"Hello," said Fork into the phone. "Can I speak to Kyoya-senpai?" "Why are we going on a volcano?" asked Tito, dragging Forky behind him.
I love Kyoya-senpai.
Kyoya?
He's my favorite Oran High School host.
Same. Did you
That's
hear
not
about
true.
Vic Minonia?
Yeah, he's funny.
That was a shame.
What happened?
He friggin' got allegations of sex offending, and so Funimation severed ties with him and replaced him on one of their current, anime projects.
Yeah, like a lot of sexual allegations.
People came out on friggin' Twitter for that shit, yeah.
What the heck, Vic? He does so much voice acting.
That brings...
He's also apparently a huge homophobe, which is hilarious.
Yeah. That
Considering his role as Tamaki-senpai.
I was about to say, that brings every line of Tamaki this dark undertone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I love Oran High School Host Club.
Me too,
I wish we could do an episode on that, but I'm weary about what the fanfic actually would be.
I'm sure we can have an 18 plus for Patreon.
I need to print out a visual guide for the names. I'm so bad with names.
Same.
Tamaki's the blonde one. Kyoya has the glasses.
Mm.
Hikaru and Kaoru are the twins.
I've already forgotten everything you just said. I can't even remember one name.
Well, we
Just
were...
replace Elias in that episode.
There we go.
Yeah.
My favorite anime, or one of them.
There you go.
There we are. Let's see here.
The 18 plus episode.
Oh my god, trying to find my place again.
It's okay, just wait a little bit before you start so I can properly cut this out.
Okay. Let's see here. Kyoya-senpai said that he can't disclose Shady and non-anime man's position over the phone. It isn't safe. So, Mr. Kyoyo-senpai said to meet him on top of this volcano. Wow, okay, said Tio, who suddenly threw Fork himself behind a rock. In the distance was the neutral man, foaming at the mouth, looking for his next dicking. Tito and Fork covered themselves in maple syrup so he could not smell them. When the Hugh-man went away, they continued on their efforts to find Kyoya-san.
So Hugh's just wandering around the great country of Japan, foaming out of the mouth, looking for women.
Sounds like a government of Japan problem, Tito. Don't concern yourself with him.
He was a kaiju.
He was a small kaiju, but equally a big problem.
You have to cover yourself in maple syrup so we can't find you.
He's gonna be in the next Sentai porno.
Oh god.
You can see his head through the mask.
You can see his huge nose peer around the corner.
They climbed the Colvin Zero with allergies and in wind and rain. Our heroes made it to the top of the volcano, no Wan in sight. He stood me up, said Frick, his hand quivering in sadness. I'm so sorry, said Tito, groping the sentient Fork. Just then, the sound of a helicopter landed behind them. Tito and Fork turned around, and there he was. It was Kyoya-senpai and Mori-senpai and Hugh Neutron.
You again?
How does he keep coming back? Is he with the host club?
He's the pilot.
He's the
He's the only licensed pilot in this fanfiction.
There we go.
I just like imagining the helicopter and them like dropping off and him like jumping down like Batman in front of them. His like fist hits the ground, does like the gargoyle pose.
Fork creamed like an anime. What are you doing, Kiryu-sama? He screeched. Tito began to sob and get naked.
I'm glad that Kyoya-senpai was the right Kyoya-senpai.
Me
That's
too.
really funny.
Oh, yeah? Tito began to sob and get naked. Kiryu simply pushed up his glasses and looked at the Mori. Mori picked up the Newton man and threw him to Tito and Fork and left in the helicopter with Kiryu-kun back to the Korin High School.
So they just showed up there, threw Hugh out of their helicopter and left. After Kyoya told the Fork to meet him there, when they just saw Hugh stalking around.
They asked Hugh who's responsible for his existence there, and he blamed Tito.
Even though he would have gone there regardless if they were there.
This story's a pain in the ass.
He was a menace on this story. He's halting progress.
I like how you're on first name basis with Hugh Neutron.
Indeed.
I don't know any other Hughs.
True.
He's the only Hugh that matters.
He's huge.
Huge Hugh.
Mori picked up the Neutron Man and threw him to Tio and Fork and left in the helicopter with Kyoya-kun back to the Korin High School. The Neutron Man knocked into Tito and Fork, pushing all three of them over the edge of the volcano. Fork stuck into the side of the volcano. Tito hung desperately to the thread he had tied around Forko for dangling
The
purposes.
thread of his shirt tied to a fork that's holding him up.
Hugh Neutron clung to Tito's pants, refusing to let go.
Tito's a big man.
He bit Tito, and Tito yelped like a chihuahua and further slipped down the string.
George was like pantomiming Tito holding the fork in the side of the thing, and then you said by a string, and then George started laughing and dropped his hand.
Fork cried for Tubby to not let go. As Tito tried to get rid of the neutron bow, Tito began to sob and ask Fork something about changing your fate. But that's when it happened. That's when he showed up. Looking up to the cliff's edge, there was MC Akio, whispered Fork as he fell unconscious.
What?
Volcanoes are like mountains. They don't have to be like meeting on the tip of the volcano, the most dangerous part of the entire mountain.
Where else are you gonna land the helicopter?
Chapter 4, Stu Pickles,
This is a
God of
long
the Universe.
I mean, like, not
How
near
long
the
is
volcano.
It's 5,000 words.
That is way over the legal limit.
I don't care. I've been waiting all year, George.
This is gonna be like the only story we read.
It's
That's
okay. To be fair, what else would we read?
The ones we picked.
Nah.
We'll get to this.
Nice pulling socks.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Two pairs. Not
I
two socks.
have 2 socks.
I have to.
You gotta start saying that.
Yo, pickled shrimp biscuits. Ugh. What? Fork groggily woke up and found himself suspended in midair, being held by something with a tight grip. Fire hydrant, sex, cash, money, Ronald. A voice spoke gibberish above his head, causing him to look up and see that he was being held by MC Akio, who was using him to eat a plate of pickled shrimp biscuits.
Who?
MC Akio. I don't know who the hell he is. Fork squealed and wriggled as the anime rapper plunged his prongs into one of the plump scrimp loaves. filling Fork with pain and terror.
He picked him up out of a volcano to use to eat.
Did he pick up Tito too?
Did he pick up Hugh? That's the important question.
He had to search that far and wide to find a regular fork in Japan.
He can't use chopsticks.
There we go.
They're too hard, so he had to go find a fork.
Gargled Fork, kicking his fork legs like a disgusting baby. The anime rapper suddenly dropped Fork and gasped, choking a bit on his plump scrimp loafs. "Keep off the grass! My heart is on fire!" explained MC Akio, smirking and winking at Fork. "Where's Teat, ya cowboy?" murmured Frank, swiping scrimp bits off his metal hair. "I'm right here, baby," belched Tito. He was already sitting right next to Akio the whole time, not saying a single word and just staring at both of them, not ever blinking and only breathing one time. Holy shit. Titus took a deep, greasy breath and scratched Akio's sleeve.
Titus?
No, it's still Tito.
It's Tito.
Okay.
They just keep misspelling
Just
everything.
inserted Titus.
If only.
Titus took a deep, greasy breath and scratched Akio's sleeve, purring like a sexually aroused cat. "Stop it! Stop it! Right now or I'll shoot!" shrieked Akira, pulling out a Pac-Man amiibo covered in peanut butter. Fork squealed and lunged himself into the air, stabbing himself into Teat's tit for safekeeping. Toyota giggled like a guggle of grapes, grabbing the amiibo and shoving it down his evil throat to be converted to Tito juices. "We need to talk, MC Akio." The two rascals explained their plight to the saucy anime rapper over the course of 4 hours, telling the Bab about Hugh Neutron's wrath and Kyoyo's shocking betrayal above the Volk. Akio shriggled, sipped a glass of hand sanitizer, then created his master plan for our heroes. "Max Goof is the 14-year-old son of Goofy Goof. Don't forget the honey mustard," whispered Akoi, shuffling over to the front door and opening it to reveal an ugly pizza delivery wolf. "Ah woo, translator's note, pizza," said the wolf, handing Akio the pizza. Before the pizza could finish being handed over to Akio, Akio stuck out his pinky finger and slit the throat of the piss wolf, causing Titty to shrivel up and squeal like a banshee. Peppa Pig's gloves," Akio barked, wrestling the pizza box out of the wolf's dead paws.
I don't like MC Akio.
This entire chapter's terrible.
MC Akio's broken the dimensional vortex.
He brought the entire narrative to a halt.
As he should.
He shuffled over to Fork and opened the box, revealing a freaky deaky Proddle inside instead of a Pete's. "Peppa Pig gloves," Akio barked yet again, sending Fork into a frantic frenzy to find the fabled Peppa Pig gloves, which were just sitting on the floor next to the garbage can. Frank slipped the pork gloves on and felt a violent surge of cosmic energy pulsate through his veins. MC Akio then looked at him and smiled a deep, sincere smile. "You must enter the pizza portal with your friend Tito and search for the one who glows with a crimson aura. Only then will you be able to become a real boy and rid the world of shoobies once and for all."
Why do they
MC
know his
Akio
plight?
knows the Subies.
They explained it to him for 4 hours, you remember?
I just didn't think he'd include the Shoobies part. He said he became a new man and stopped worrying about Shoobies.
True. The pig gloves and
Only for a moment.
Still needs to get the fork to kill him.
As soon as Hamtaro ended, he got back on the case.
His attention span thinned.
The pig gloves then disintegrated, and Fork Jefferson knew what to do. MC Akio sobbed bitter tears for no reason as Fork and Timothy rolled into the pasta box, entering the portal to find their next adventure. Alright. Chapter 5, Morty Wasn't Accepted.
Cool.
Last time on Farf 3, Tito's Revenge, our heroes plummeted into the... Whatever, I'm not reading that. Hey, man.
What happened?
What is... what is it, this? What do you think should happen now, Matt? Let's see, Des, Nico, Maru, stalled. I think someone should step in a bowl of potato salad. Thus, that was a waste of potato salad. Nin moyo. At this point, Matt took a long time to respond, leaving Gomez to stare at her computer in dismantled silence while he returned. When he didn't return after a whole fucking minute, Desiree had to turn to watching anime AMVs. Nanomili finally returned at the end of the shitty MV. Does it get back on fucking track anytime soon?
It just DJ Akio completely derailed the plot.
Okay, so the
Hugh
second
was still around.
they don't get back on track till like the second half of this chapter. Okay. Tito and Fork were so scared, so horrified by distant pain screams that they didn't realize they stepped into a certain fish's bowl of potato salad. Oh, sorry, said Tito. It took us 3 days to make that potato salad. Fork and Teets quickly booked it to the tall buildings of a random town, urgent to be safe. The fish shook his finny. 3 days!
SpongeBob reference.
Ooh. Just then, they face-planted right through the glass of a giant piece of glass and were now next to a tree. Titoed, and he rolled up to his side.
Sounds like Tito's feeling the burn of this story.
Yeah.
Slammed through a huge sheet of glass. He's like...
His speech is just a row of H's progressively getting capitalized.
Yeah.
Weak.
I guess that's what would happen if he did that. You'd slam through a huge pane of glass and somebody put a microphone up next to you.
Oh my god. Fork could do nothing but watch, horrified. What are you doing? Yelled someone from the tree. Seconds later, a mouse about 6 feet tall scurried next to them.
Okay.
My tree dome! She shouted. Why is she 6 feet tall?
6 inches.
Sandy's pretty tall.
No, 6 feet
What?
tall.
Why'd they shatter her glass dome? Have they been underwater this whole time?
Yeah,
Is that why the SpongeBob joke happened?
Yeah.
They just
Dropped us here.
Just living underwater, and now the water's getting into Sandy's tree dome because Tito crashed through it and went.
Inhaling all the air she had left. Oh no!
He's immortal. He doesn't need it. He just did it for fun.
Let's see here. Oh my god.
6
My
foot
tree dome! Fork quickly snapped out of it. We're sorry, Mouse. We'll fix it, he shouted. The mouse
Yeah, I'm sure the Fork will fix this broken glass in the bottom of the ocean.
The mouse continued to panic and mentioned how it was a squirrel. Let's see here. Science room. What is any of this? Yelled Tito viciously.
What is any of this? He
Tito's
doesn't.
getting mad at science.
Tito doesn't believe in science. He believes in God and nothing else.
He had a bad experience in the Church of Scientology. He doesn't want to go back.
He believes in...
Zebo.
Tito loves Zubo.
Fork didn't know. He didn't care. He saw an opportunity and he fucking took it. He jumped into a box. There were 8 moments of silence as Fork just laid there. Tito looking off straight ahead, blinking like he was on The Office.
Oh.
Just then, angry squirrel barged through the wall. You! She hissed. Tito and Fork yelped like a cantaloupe, and Tito in heat picked up a random science gun from the floor. Wait, no! Put that down! Tito gently fired a beaming blast, but it was too powerful.
They smashed into her tree dome and said we can fix it, and now he got scared that she's living in her house and he tried to shoot at her.
He said, I'll fix it, and then got to the science room and got upset. And he's like, oh, what is all this crap? And then she came in and he was like, ah! And then pulled the gun on her.
Tito absconded a weapon of mass destruction. Oh my god.
It'll help him in his fight against the Shoobies.
Tito said, do you think this will hurt a Shubi?
Tito gently fired the beaming blast, but it was too powerful and he couldn't control. He shook violently, unable to keep it pointing in one direction as the mouse dodged in bikini. But then he hit Fork Box.
Oh no.
Mouse Woman lunged at Tito and took the science gun and turned it off. The box fork was and rumbled horrifically gentle as he transformed and grew.
She's in a bikini?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I know, right? Tito and Mouse watched as he grew to loom over them, and he looked like the Silver Surfer from the Fantastic Fur. The Fantastic Fur. He was Nakes, but most importantly, he was a real boy.
Whoa.
Neji, it is done.
It all
Thank
came
you.
full circle.
Neji, it is done. Thank you, Gorgonzola. Chapter 6, just one more chicken McNugget.
He's a boy!
Well, Fork's a human now, but he's also brain dead.
Oh, we still have to kill the Shoobies.
Alright.
Tito's tooths fell out of his...
What's wrong?
Tito's
What happened?
Tito's tooths fell out of his gums, and grape juice flooded from the orifices, filling his mouth with loads and loads of delicious purple pulpy juices.
Disgusting.
He frothed,
His
grape
tooths.
liquid flowing from his mouth.
Well, I'm glad we came back for a 4th chapter. This sure was worth it.
This is like chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
This translated to, as the ancient Hawaiians say, you look like the kind of boy who'd hump a Scrappy-Doo toy. Real boy Fork grunted, thrusting his fist into Tito's mouth and grabbing the valve in his stomach to stop the flow of grape juice.
Tito's grape juice valve.
In his...
I hate that this started out with his teeth falling out.
It had to.
Oh my god.
When you get this deep into a fan fiction like this, you're really asking to read this sort of thing.
You're right. Let's see here. He began to twist it as fruit liquids got all over the floor, but they eventually came to a halt. Tito irped and Grake, then shifted his gaze onto the giant bikini mouse who was trying to murder. Now that you've seen my lab, I can't let you live, the bandicoot snarled, pulling a fig Newton out of its bra and crushing it to fucking pieces. The fig is gone, no, real Fork boy took a deep breath and roared. Horf, you just don't get it, do you? With friends by my side, I can accomplish anything. A rusty toaster emerged from his forehead, rumbling and a crumble to blunch some flesh tonight. Ah! Fork held the toaster and aimed it at giant bikini mouse, his hands trembling like a scared weasel. With my bread gun, we'll see who's got the fattest ankles, am I right? He hissed, cocking the trigger on the toaster and shrieking like Helga from Hey Arnold would if Arnold got his foot cut off.
Yes.
I can visualize that.
Yeah.
Helga's sitting there as Arnold inexplicably gets his foot cut off.
That's what happened to the Jungle movie.
She'd be
What?
sad.
Yeah, he got his foot cut off. There's the funny part where the fat guy was like, I gotta eat, and so he cut off Arnold's
You
foot.
are bullshit.
Let's see here.
That's blue.
Yeah. That would do.
Baloo cut his foot off. Baloo stuck his foot in the blades of his tailspin plane.
Tailspin plane. Toast launched from the barrels of the toaster and Mouse was fuck. She watched the tossed fly right at her, clenching on fig Newtons as she waited for the sweet release of death. After she swallowed the final Newton, she squelched as the toast flopped against her knee then fell to the ground. Ah, "Ha!" the mouse gaggled. Your toast wasn't toasted enough to penetrate my flesh. I live. Tito coughed up some wet raisin juice, a horrified expression plastered across his face. Who could save them now? And then, in a flash of time that could be attributed to how long it takes to blink one's eyelids, something unexpected occurred. A flick of a wrist, a shuriken, the removal of a toe, the sudden cry of a giant bikini mouse, and an entrance that would only be expected of the most honorable gods and goddesses. Through the smashed doorway of the room walked Ninja Brian, and behind him, "It's time to boil some cock meat, Brian!" And there he was, their messiah and one true Jew that had finally arrived, in all his glory, Danny Sexbang.
Thank God I can put NSP in the tags for this video.
At last. This is going to be a crowded thumbnail. Tito's author's note.
It's gonna be just Tito,
God.
none of the other Rocket Power.
The author says to listen to Wario's Woods battle music while you listen to this battle scene.
Nice.
Okay, I'll put it in.
Tito's chins uploaded from underneath his jaw, then flipped over his face and started to choke him. His chins were choking him. Somebody help Tito, please. And so Ninja Brian flew over to Teet and sliced his chins off with a katana, saving Tiot's life. As the ancient Hawa say, "Thanks, Ninja Brian," he whispered to himself.
Saying as he bleeds out from the neck.
As the ancient Hawaiians say, "Thanks, Ninja Brian."
Hawas.
Hawaiians.
That's so funny.
God.
He whispered to himself, sneezing 3 times. Ninja Brian, load up the Erecto Cannon, Mr. Sexbang barked, still standing in the doorway with his hands on his hips, and also cape flowing in the breeze. Byron moved fast, setting up the good cock cannon as Forkman watched in 2 shocks and an awe. "Dan, are you gonna kill the squirrel?" Fork screamed while breathing inwards, creating a scray that was more like a devil Forkman.
So he admits he knows she's a squirrel.
Stand back! This is
Forgot she was here.
Yeah, she's the threat. You know, other than Tito's chins.
Stand back! This is gonna get jizzy, Dan gurgled, jerking the trigger of the Erecto Cannon and causing its testicle cargo to juggle. "Why is everyone trying to kill me? God, please save me!" the mouse cried in agony as it awaited the sweet release of dead once again.
Back to the mouse.
The cock barrel hiccuped and clucked, unleashing a Frosty from Wendy's. "Ah, my midnight snackaroony," Dan chuckled.
He shoots her.
As he kills her.
Midnight snackaroonie.
Dan chuckled, picking up the Frosty covered in cock juices. "Brian, let's blow this coxicle stand." The 2 warriors shuffled out the front door, leaving.
Just got here.
There's so many people in this fucking thing.
Sandy's tree dome.
I was scared this wasn't gonna be a crossover, okay?
Got a few.
Oh my god.
You got Hugh Neutron out there looking for a dicking.
Ugh.
You got the Oron Host Club.
Leaving Teet and Spork dumbfounded and 2 times sad, their nipples a-sagging. At that point, real fork boy with a real fork dick pulled a Glock out of his invisible pocket and shot giant bikini mouse in the forehead. Oh god, so much blood.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
But their horrors weren't over yet. Outside the tree dome, Tito heard the scraping of coolers against the ground and tapping of bare feet. He cupped his ear to hear what the creatures were saying. "Man, I can't wait to take over the beach for the whole summer and act like I own it." Tito puked up some blood.
Tito's about to lose his mind.
The Shoobies!
Tito,
This is the first Shoobies we've seen.
Tito puked up some blood.
Wait,
that
he's
sat on the
underwater.
floor.
He's like putting his ear to the ground. And you get to hear them stomping around in their
How
shoes.
they get in Sandy's dome?
He smashed through the glass.
I can't wait to go to the beach and act like I own the place.
Well, maybe Sandy has a tree dome in this universe above ground, because he wouldn't have fell through the glass if it wasn't gravity.
True.
Intense gravity.
Yeah, but then they had the fish. They had the salad fish.
I mean, yeah, we actually skipped that part, so I don't know what the deal with that was, but we can assume they're underwater, I guess.
Yeah. Tito puked up some blood and sat on the floor. The Shoobies are coming. Chapter 7.
Well,
Pink
Forks are,
Floyd and Napoleon's hat. Huh?
I mean, the Fork's a real boy now, and he killed Sandy, so he can kill Shoobies.
True. Now, this is the second to last chapter, by the way. Thank God.
This is just gonna be the whole episode.
Oh, God.
It's already over an hour.
We can get in some short ones.
We don't have short ones.
I
Rocket
have
Power
short
fans
ones.
only write long letters.
I have some short ones.
No, you don't.
Tito?
You've had enough.
Okay. Tito cried 7.5 tears and fell into the floor horror gentle. He screamed and threw a tantrum like he was 1.5 years old. He was real upset. Real fork boy with real forked dicks lunged up, threw his glockaroony to Tito, and took out his two-sided lightsaber. He went to dead mouth Bikini Rat and cut that bitch.
He's already dead!
He shoved Tito inside for the protection of 1,000 lifetimes. Stay low, Fork
He's
Boy
immortal!
says. But Tito protests, clutching the Glocko in real upsetment, saying that his four is too important to him, too precious to lose to the Shoobies like his vampire parents before him.
I mean, he's not really immortal. He almost fell in a volcano earlier and choked on his own shins.
Well, like, immortal's different from invincible. Immortal just means you live forever. You don't
True.
die from aging.
He's immortal, but he's also dangerous.
Someone tell Toriyama that. Let's see her.
Garlic Jr. was immortal.
Oh, that's true.
They could still punch him.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, that really hurt, but I'm still getting up.
Let's see
The
her.
Dead Zone. Let's recreate the entire Dead Zone movie, shot for shot.
Okay. Who's Garlic?
Elias.
Dakota.
We need a pet to make garlic.
Let's see her.
And then you like metamorphosize into one of our bigger friends when you go muscle mode.
Dakota can be Garlic when he's like smaller, and then
Dakota can be Gohan.
and then Edgar can be like full power Garlic.
No, he can't.
Okay.
You can't put my parents' dog into this. He can't sign a contract. He doesn't have thumbs.
You're right.
We need to recreate the completionist intro in audio form.
What would that accomplish?
We can all go dun, dun, dun,
Yes!
dun, dun,
I had Super Nintendo cartridges at the ready for that.
You did.
Authentic. A true completionist. Actually,
What?
nothing.
What?
I'll just nothing.
Continue, please.
He cried many a day in the past thinking, waiting for the Shoobies to make a move on himself, but never had he truly worried for the safety of another like he had Fork. They're been through so much, you feel, being trapped in the oven, surviving the plane, becoming a real boy twice. Tito began to sob monotonously. Des then cried because she couldn't think of anything. Right when the Fork Boy... Des. I don't know who the hell. Right when Fork Boy was going to confront the Shoobies, Tiger came bouncing in. The Shoobies champion, said
Tigger.
Tito in horror. Fork Boy had to fight him to even get to the Shoobs.
Tigger from Winnie the Pooh is the Shoobies champion.
No, he just said tiger, not Tigger.
You said Tiger came
He said-
bouncing in.
Yeah, Tiger.
But he doesn't wear shoes.
Tigger is spelled as Tiger.
No, he's spelled with two G's. That's why it's funny when people say Tigger and you say, what'd you say?
Elias, hold that thought. Tigger has DVD copies of The Land Before Time 2 that he throws at Fork. Real Forky high seas at the burning sensations amongst his new and hella hot bod. How dare he? Fork attacks Tigger, swinging his light shakes wildly, fully intending to cut it. Takes out his own lightsaber and friskily shakes it at Fork, swoon parrying his attempts to do kill. Sentient Fork... What is this?
Tigger and Fork are having a lightsaber battle.
I'm skipping this. They worded it so
No.
awful.
I already put in music from Star Wars.
Very well. Sentient Fork attempts to thrust the saber down Tig's throat, but he doesn't let it happen. No, not happening today. Tig punches Fork Boy in his raw fork dick, sending him to the floor.
His raw fork dick.
We need to get like a YouTube acapella cover of the Star Wars song.
Like a kazoo.
Yeah. Tito screeches for mouse carcass tears.
A MIDI file.
Tigger goes in for the infidel blow, but real Fork Boy with a partially owed dick, gently, horrifically mangles Tigger dong with his lightsaber. Tigger is not pleased and screes around in a circle, slowing down and falling due to blood loss. The voices of the Shoobies and their tyrannical reign was heard in the stiff silence. Real Fork Boy with Real Fork Wick walked over to the dying tiger, raising his lightsaber in the air. Tig looked at him, knowing Fork had no mercy when it came to his lover. With his final breath, Tigger did the thing. VeggieTales on VHS is a good time for all ages. Oh no! Hugh Neutron burst through the tree dome.
They're still in the tree dome!
Yeah. Closing the door only after letting in precisely 234 gallons of salty sand. He was angry.
He played his trump card.
He was angry. He was upset. He was naked. He was moderately obese. He was 11.24 inches. He was horny, and he was out for blood. He puppet walks in like on Team America World like Team America World excretes onto the scene of our heroes. Tigger in his sights first. Hugh Negtroon viciously flips over the dying Triglet.
That'd be so scary.
3D model of Hugh Neutron, just like puppet arms.
He breaks
flailing.
through glass and thousands of pressure gallons burst all around him.
234! He refuses to close the door until that exact amount is inside. Oh!
He busts through the wall, probably.
Yeah. Hugh Neutron viciously flips over the dying Triglet, grabbing his tail and swooping it around Tigger's neck.
Oh no!
Whose side is he on?
Tito gasps in honor, but quickly covers his mouth as his Glock to be Real Fork watches, peachless. Hugh Negtron ignores Tigger's screams of pure moist horror as Hugh lustfully decapitates Tigger with his own tail. Oh my god. Tito and Fork look on in horror as Hugh munched on Tigger's now officially dead form. Then he looked at Fork and Tito were frozen. The Netron man immediately broke into a gallop towards Tito, who shook, petrified.
Gallop.
A gallop.
Like on all fours.
I guess.
Naked with an 11-inch cock.
He gets scarier every time we see him.
Mildly obese.
Out of shape and erect, naked.
Puppet on his back.
Puppet guns. Who shook, petrified with the Glock in his hands. He was too mortified to use it. Fork Fork creamed and let out a howl of discontent, throwing the lightsaber like a spear at the provocative adult male with an unnecessary and remotely unhealthy dick length. A poison pill falls from the sky and randomly lands in Teet's mouth. Hugh was able to puncture Tito's heart with a pencil before being brutally entered by the lightsaber. Fork couldn't breathe. Last fucking chapter.
So unpacking that, Fork stabbed him. Fork stabbed Hugh and then lost his breath as Hugh stabbed Tito
with a pencil, yeah.
And Tito also ingested a poison pill, Deus Ex Machina style.
Yeah. Chapter 8. One moderately sad lasagna later. I need a fucking sip because this is
me too. Let me get some water. I know it's almost over, but I'll be fast.
Break before last chapter.
In a world down under, one team is put to the challenge, but only one can become Prince Waiki Kamukau. Get ready for speed. Get ready for danger. Get ready for freestyle roller disco. Otto, Reggie, Twister, and the Squid in their first full-length TV movie, Race Across New Zealand, a rocket power movie. Sunday at 8, only on Nick Gas.
Fork gasped, clutching his fork chest as he fell to his fork knees and sobbed disgusting fork tears. They were shaped like forks, and when they hit the ground they made a ting sound like a fork would, like when it hits the ground, because he is a fork. Do you understand? Okay, good. He swabbled over to Tart, clutching Trat's second breast to help him breathe. Such a passionate catching utensil. Tostito. You can't die on me now.
Tostito, that's the funniest one yet.
That's good. I haven't tasted your seed yet, Fork purred sadly.
Okay.
Hugh Neutron bubbled his frumps, picking up some rocks and stuffing them into his socks to create dangerous rock socks. That's pretty good.
That's even worse, imagining naked Hugh puppet with socks on.
Gathering rocks.
Like he was wearing socks in his puppet animation so he could take them off and fill them with rocks.
I love that rhyme so much. He put rocks in his socks to create dangerous rock socks. Jim Jam. James. Jimbo Jamboree Nut. Taste Croc. Hug bumbled, swacking Frock over the head with his rock socks. Scranga puss, Fork creamed, falling on the ground next to Tarzan and licking his ear 3 times. Oh my god.
So Hugh just clocked Fork over the head with his sock.
Yeah. Tringus, you gotta wake up, he pleaded, shovelving the large Hawa in an effort to wake his arse up. Tingle coughed up a bluck.
Remember when his teeth fell out?
Yeah,
His
I sure do.
Still doesn't have them. Where he grew him back.
His grape drink innards.
His valve.
It's time for dinner. A hole opened in the tree dome, but no water came in because Jesus happened. Come get the burger, Jesus barked at Tick, opening the craw door on his taxi to bring Teagle to Chicago. What a good boy. No, you can't go to Chicago, not without me, your special Froik baby. Fork plundered under his breath, hurgling his brain to cope. It's time for me to install Jesus Cart 8. Sayonara, pup. Tring quigged horrifically gentle, rising up to meet Jeej and so. Fork was all alone without a plump Hawa to crunch anymore. What a shit day. And so once the Jesus hole was gone, hung Nutter Butter unhinged his jaw to reveal a broken PlayStation stuck in his teeth. Get out, get out, get out, get out, he prumped, tearing grass out of the ground and throwing it in the air to make grass fireworks. Yada yada, does it? Piece of cheese. Fork was so fucking tired, man, he just wanted to sit down on a rock. Any kind of rock, please. He walked up to Herg's tooths and gripped the Nintendo box, tightening his grip on the Xbox as he pulled and pulled out all of Jimmy's Tarth came out. Whoa, Mulan, Sleeping Beauty, and the Beast, fuck. Hug was dead. That killed him, it's over. The tree dome wibbled and also a wobble, transforming into the Krusty Shore Shack.
Back where we started.
They were there all along, in parentheses. But it wasn't a dream. This was a fucking weird story once Trigger bit the bucket. All the shoobs evaporated and became milk gas.
Milk gas?
Yeah!
At least the shoobs are dead.
What does that mean?
I don't fucking know!
They, like, put milk out in the sun and let it dehydrate?
Milk gas.
Its molecular structure changed from a liquid to a gas?
God.
Fumes.
God.
Mm.
Oh. Just a cloud of milk.
Gross. Home. Too bad Tonald isn't here to see what we're home. Hurrah, Frank wheezed. But then out of the sky, the Jesus hole reopened and the Christ taxi roomed into the roof of the Shra Shack, destroying the infrastructure and ensuring that Tonald's would be in crippling debt due to the cost of repairing the Shaw Shack, and his life is over, even though he's coming back to life. Frank, I didn't die. I just went to Chicago and had a hot dog, said the dead alive Hawaii. He was back to stay at last. Frock fell into Targus's arms and gazed into his sausage eyes. Oh yes, as the ancient Hawaiians say, fork sex. Teat gribbled, and then they engaged in utensil coitus right there at the end of the episode of Rocket Power. Spider-Man sat on the floor with a gummy bear watching it happen, thinking, man, I wish I saw Star Wars 2 in theaters, dagnabbit. Heck end.
Hooray!
Oh my god, that took a year to get to.
I like how it concluded with a third Shore Shack opening, even the second one drove Tito insane.
He was drove into crippling debt when he came back to life.
He's like, I've been rebirthed to this world and now I'm in debt.
Well, let's everyone rate that damn story.
I give that story a rating of 69.69.
God, so much to process.
I give it 234 gallons of grape juice coming out of Tito's gums.
I give it however many gallons got blown through Sandy's treehouse.
234.
Yeah,
but what about the first time when Tito broke through the glass?
None. Zero.
None, zero.
No, and he went and nailed it all.
Okay. I'm burned out.
Same here. That took a lot out of me. Oh my god.
It's almost midnight.
Guys,
Yeah.
I just like to apologize to the audience. I had no idea going into this, and I've had this on the shelf for a year, mind you. I had no idea this was 5,000 words, first of all.
I was surprised it's finished.
Yeah.
It's so rare to get a finished story, much less by somebody who does one like that, where it's so chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually drop off as soon as they get bored with the idea.
I wonder.
Yeah,
what
or just
was
does something else.
Well,
Nah, it was updated in 2015.
maybe the hip cool fans like the different idea of like having a long single one. We'll see. We'll see what you guys say in the comments below. Whoa.
No.
Yeah.
Elias, let me run a hypothetical.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay. Hey, what would happen if somebody came into our...
Steven, you suck.
If somebody walked into our house right
That's a
now...
really dumb one, I'm sorry.
What if somebody walked into our house right now and they were wearing shoes and they said, I just got back from the beach, I didn't take my shoes off once.
I was gonna beat him
I'd be
up.
like right now.
Yeah.
They were at the beach at almost midnight.
Wearing
Yeah,
their shoes.
them high tides, you know what I mean?
They broke into our house, knowing all.
In
Knowing all
sandy
that.
shoes.
Good dad, he's looking for bottles.
He said, wow, I really owned that beach.
This is he. On that beach.
As soon as he walks in, the lights go out and his mouth opens.
As soon as he walks in, he opens his mouth. He goes.
He
and the
says,
lights
hey
go
guys, and the
off.
lights just... His eyes light up and he's like, oh, didn't mean to charge my lights.
Okay, I'll run my hypothetical by you. What would you do if one day you came home and all of your teeth came out and a gallon of grape drink from Walmart came out?
If I just walked in the door and all my teeth fell on the floor and I looked down and I'm like, oh, and before I could say anything, my mouth started spewing purple juice, I'd probably turn around and walk back outside and start, like, dispersing that liquid onto the grass or somewhere safe until I could assess the situation.
Oh, I'm surprised you wouldn't make a killing off of it.
Yeah, I don't think my first thought would be, how can I monetize this? Maybe I'm just not a good businessman.
It's warm, you chill it, and it turns into a slushy.
Yeah, look at it spewing all over my clothes and my hands, standing in the porch in my clothes, and I say, wow, you know, this is kind of warm. I wonder if I chill it.
Here's the cat. Here's the cash. Anything?
I say, there's got to be a catch. This is too good to be true.
The catch is if it gets on your skin, it turns it purple forever. You look like a purple version of the dude from Big Fat Liar.
You say, shoot, now that this is on my skin, it's probably never going to go back, huh?
No amount of soap or water can fix this. This is just my life now.
Wow, I can sell this. This is a good opportunity.
People, I know so many people that want to be purple.
Don't want to be drinking this. Whatever it is.
You can threaten people. If they make you mad, you can threaten to make them purple forever.
Smells like grapes. I call up my nearest enemy with no teeth as I spew liquid from my mouth and start to threaten them the best I can.
My hypothetical really sucks. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's enough. Good night, Rocket Power.
Good night, Rocket Power.
Good night, the Beach City.
Good night, Shore Shack.
Good night, Tito.
Good night. Ooh, I came close.
What? What were you gonna say?
Tito.
Yeah, good night, Brown.
What?
Tito.
Steven, what?
Good night, Brown.
Good night, Moon. Good night.
Hey!
Okay,
Cut that
alright, being as he did. Good night.
Just because one person decides to spew obscenities doesn't mean it's okay for everybody to.
Can you say good night and then the sound that the Tiki makes from Crash Bandicoot?
Good night.
Perfect.
Woo! Your stomach made a noise.
It did. I'm low carbon, so it's like, where's the food?
That can't be healthy.
That's how it is, man. Dieting.
Dieting, more like dieting.
Dying.
Dying. You're
Is this the
dying.
outro?
Sure. We've got like
What?
6 false outros where we said goodnight a bunch.
Okay, I'll teach you something. The keto diet is just an inefficient way to eat less calories when you could just eat less calories and not have a vitamin deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
lesson of the day.
There we go.
Woo!
Ooh.
Suck it, Keto!
Huzzah.